Hello, I'm live. I'm continuing reading the Awakening letters. These are letters which were transmitted to Lady Sandys, Cynthia Sandys and Rosamond Lehman from their daughters. Their daughters lived not very long. They died tragically early, and Sally and Patricia are transmitting messages from the afterlife. They worked on this for 30 years. This book was published in 1979, and I am here in part 4, where Father Andrew Glazewski is transmitting. And I've already read a couple of his letters, and I continue here a continuation from Father Andrew, where he is on Iona. Next day, sitting on the shore of the western coast of Iona, it is written, "You know, my dear Pan, this is a much better place to write, and I tell you why. Straight in front of you, on that little knoll, are a group of druids who were Columba's first friends. They are singing the old chants on the etheric, which gives power, health, and enlightenment to the island. They are a wonderful group. One cannot easily tell a druid from a Christian by the aura, except that the druids have a deeper knowledge of the ancient wisdom, while the Christians have the Christ ray. This was very infectious, and the druids were open to all infection of this kind. They were in Iona of a very high order of mystics. I have been shown some of the secrets of Iona through them. One of these so-called secrets lies in a method of development taught by them which help the soul on leaving the body to pass outside the earth aura and continue without reincarnation. This constant reincarnation was a terrible curse upon those who knew and accepted the hard lives that lay in store. So they sought by every means in their power to outstrip the necessity for physical life. We don't understand this to the same extent now. Very few people accept the theory, and those who do find life a far less arduous lot than our ancestors of centuries ago. So here, as in Chartres, Egypt and Greece, there was a school for the advancement of the soul upon other vibrations. Now we have outgrown that desire and almost outgrown the need. We have the power to return, as I am doing now, to learn and to teach, and at the same time to go out into space when we are ready. You say you can have no idea how much ground has been covered by past generations. To us on Earth it all seemed much the same, but to those who are now leaving the body, they find a freedom beyond all conception awaiting them. Now I want to speak about the greater self. This was a discovery for me of enormous importance. I had always glimpsed the possibility of there being a more advanced Andrew somewhere, but he was so elusive. I didn't really know how or where to look for him. Then we met. I was slightly embarrassed. I was a new boy. He was myself grown wiser, but how were we to cooperate? He was tall, I was short. He was strong and athletic. I was wrinkled and puny. He was like an elder brother, and yet he was me. I talked to him and asked how he could help me to become like himself. And then he took me in his arms as he would a small child and breathed on me. That was all, and I, Andrew, became as one with this great being. It's beyond understanding or explaining, but it's true. We are only a very small reflection of the self we leave outside the earth body. And when we have accepted death and entered into the majesty of passing out of the physical, This wonderful enlargement of mind and spirit is awaiting us. Now, to give you an example of how it works, while I, Andrew, was working away slowly in the body, learning to move without physical help, learning to see and hear, my other self was doing the same on a far larger scale. So when you make any slight effort on Earth, your greater body does the same, but to a vastly greater degree. All this is so exciting that I have used all our energy for today. Let us write again tomorrow. Give my love to them all. Well, now that we are settled, I really prefer a small room. We were always taught to meditate in our cells, and if not built, and if not to build a dome of thought around us. We have been closer today to the real center of peace, and I would have you know that I have overlighted all your speakers in turn. Some of them brought very advanced spirit guides. Now I want to speak to you about fields of force. You have been discussing the T-plane and others, that is right. You should begin to learn how to tune into these different layers of consciousness. They were mostly names to me before I came over, but now, though I see that our delineation of them was often faulty, the idea was right. Spheres of force are as geometrical as everything else you can name. Even the waves that seem so haphazard are fulfilling a pattern. And when you leave the earth plane and enter into these further lines, you find the plane upon plane supporting and interlacing like the petals of a flower, or many flowers, each with color, sound, and form. It was very perplexing to me at first to be bombarded by so many with such gaiety and profusion. I came to rest eventually at the side of the old abbot, teacher of my youth. He looked at me and said, "Andrew, you have traveled far and been a torch-bearer." That surprised me. I thought I had gone in exactly the opposite direction from most of his teaching. He saw my embarrassment and laughed, and suddenly I saw that he was young and understanding and had thrown off much of the old teaching, perhaps even as much as I had myself. I pointed to the color spheres and asked his help. He explained them to me in thought, which is far too intricate for me to put into language. If Keith Critchlow were here, I might be able to explain in symbols, but even they do not go far enough. You will have to reach out in thought, beyond language, before you can grasp the majesty and the meaning of the T-spheres. But now to come back onto the earth plane, here on Iona I see St. Oran. His chapel and his very personality are impressed here. What a marvelous directive for spirit growth. But I have probed as far as I can with my intellect. I go on with a new sense that I've been given something which exceeds intellect, but still thinks with the mind of a separate order. This is confusing, but very stimulating. I feel almost as though I were thinking alongside the quested ones. But of course that is nonsense, and you must not encourage me in these extravagant ideas. Let us be practical. We must teach you first to see and hear. Once learned, these lessons are of infinite value over here. I do urge you with all your practical work to pause and feel. Talk to the trees and flowers as I showed you. The greater your consciousness, the more rapid your vision on coming here. Now I've finished for today, and again tomorrow, please. Cynthia, you have chosen a good place. This is another letter. Cynthia, you have chosen a good place, or to be exact, I have chosen it. I used to come here long ago, when I was a humble brother, and escaped from work and come here to pray. I used this little wind-free corner from which I could see the far side of the island, the land to which I had belonged, the old continent. Not all Iona is so ancient, but the far side most certainly is. How old I can't tell you, and it is of no importance. It is a beautiful island, barbed with power, and for this reason it must always be held in the love race. Otherwise, it could become what I have seen happening in Poland and Russia, the most demonical center. I go back very often. It is one of my undertakings to free these misused centers. At present, we can only amass the power for good against the day when Christ allows some human link, some master in human form, to win and transform the land. I am sure that day is not far off. The masters are ready and awaiting their call for Russia, Poland, and Czechoslovakia. Tribulation always brings strength, and you will see a tremendous awakening. But everything is always tied up with everything else. The more dynamic you can make Iona, the more advanced your group can become, the sooner all this will come about. One great change has taken place within the last decade or so. It is expansion seen among all our groups. We no longer talk of the secret doctrines. We do not keep ourselves enclosed. We go out and give and share, and only by doing so can you develop and grow. You have seen what happened in Tibet, and before that in Greece and Egypt. Secrecy spelled detachment from earth, and no further advance into mind or matter. Now, to go back to these fields of force that interest you so much, the L field and the T field. They exist within the human body and also within all growing organisms. I'm not sure if they do not also exist in the rocks. You must understand that everything that is God created is alive, breathing, even thinking upon different levels, but keyed in to our evolution. We are responsible for growth or sterility. We can do so much more with our planet besides just looting and despoiling, and for that reason I am hoping that a moment will soon come when other beings will join you on Earth to show and to demonstrate another way of living. I want you to reach out in thought to these greater beings by asking the Christ to bring his Christed ones within the Earth vision. This is the plan for which we must prepare. It has been called the Second Coming, but it is not in the least like the original coming of Christ. This will happen at first slowly, and all over the world people will appear possessing great dynamic force and power. They will not command, they will keep in step with all of you in all the different walks of life, but slowly, gently, they will impress the love ray, and their gentle influence will be felt and guarded. Take this into your conscious mind and hold yourself alert to meeting, as you may well do, one of these advanced beings. The Earth is ripe for this event, and there are an increasing number of awakened ones now in the body. See that the number grows, and do not lose heart because of the apparent futility of your efforts. Andrew. So that was the end of part 4, and I shall read part 5 soon. These are letter from Joe, which is Sir Alvary Gascoigne, who is Cynthia's brother. I hope you enjoyed that.